Hey, everybody, I'm David Bloom with NextTMT. I'm here with Bevin Fletcher, our favorite collaborator from Stream TV Insider, also an editor there. We're here at IBC in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, which has an impossible show floor to navigate, but weirdly enough, a really beautiful, as you can see in the backdrop, a really beautiful pond with ducks and boats and stuff. I fully recommend it. Anyway, there's a lot going on today, and I guess, Devin, I'll let you start talking about some of what you saw, stuff with the sports
Yeah, so I saw a great sports panel from Paul Erickson of Omida, and they had on folks from Grace Note, Dolby OptiView, and NPAW, and they were talking about how, sports rights are so expensive, how to kind of recoup investment on sports rights, and where they see opportunity. A lot of them were talking about it's really going to be able to zero in on fan engagement, but that the personalization aspect of that hasn't quite been solved yet. And another interesting
that seems pretty key. I want to just say, I mean, I don't want you to skip on past. Oh, we can't make it personalized, but that's the thing everybody keeps talking about doing.
right.
It's like not. I mean, there's a lot of AI, like as one person said, it's a checklist item for every company here, but it doesn't seem like everything is quite solved.
Well, and some of the things they were talking about that you could do is like you have the ability for picture in picture, but could you pull in not just other sports that are happening simultaneously, but know another team that someone likes to follow or key moments in other events that are relevant to them that you could show at the same time, things like that.
But to help drive engagement
and that drives monetization.
Right.
And that you could also, monetize through merchandising, things like that. But also I thought it was interesting, they were like, beyond the actual games itself, what's really becoming the IP is the athletes and the storytelling, where they think, bringing in, engaging them both before and after the content with a more emphasis on the athletes themselves, the storytelling, but also bring in younger fans who also like to follow on social.
They're more interested in the story around the players.
Right.
And I might add their spouses or girlfriends/boyfriends, I think.
In certain cases.
Well,
Taylor Swift effect.
Football, the Taylor Swift effect in American football. We have to say these things when we're in the Netherlands, because this is where they created total football. For those who know these things about soccer, a dynamic, different attack strategy. Soccer, as we call it in the United States. So we have to say American football versus everybody else's football. But a huge opportunity. The WAGs there, as they call them, is a personal opportunity. Actually, one of the people I talked with today, Nish Prakash, is the CEO of a company called CAM.AI, and they do really interesting stuff. But their clients include Major League Soccer. They did a year ago in April the first worldwide live translation in the event into 4 languages: English, French, Spanish, not Dutch, Portuguese. Given Apple's major ambitions for Major League Soccer, it has a 360-degree deal with MLS. They're an ongoing client with them, doing live sports every week from the MLS weekend games. But they are also doing things with Comcast is an investor. They've got deals with NASCAR and Eurovision Sports, which does something like 100 different kinds of championships. They just had a boxing championship. His point was the live streaming in sports is probably the equivalent of the Ferrari in cars. It's the thing that stresses the system out the most and really pushes everything. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong there.
Yeah.
And you're trying to translate something from its native language into something that will work in a different language. In real time, into multiple other languages, and get all the nuances in those other languages. He had a great example. It says, in baseball, you might have somebody say, oh, he peppered that ball off the green monster. And if you're not even a sports fan in the United States, you'd go, what? And what that meant was they hit a ball and it bounced off this gigantic green left field wall in the stadium where the Boston Red Sox play.
I was going to say, what'd you just say?
Yeah, who speaks that besides American sports geeks? But being able to translate.
I'm American and I didn't understand.
Exactly. We won't even get into like the differences between, say, Mexican Spanish, Castilian Spanish, Argentinian Spanish, or the French of Paris versus the French of North Africa versus the French of French Canada. But they have the ability with 150 languages to try and do something. in real time. That's really fascinating. The thing he said that I thought was most heartening and kind of inspiring was being able to conquer these things not only opens up the world to all these sports leagues, but it also opens up opportunities. He said, now you don't have to, it's like, just imagine the impact on call centers. Instead of hiring somebody because they can speak English in the Philippines or India or wherever, you hire them because of their subject matter competency.
Mhm.
And then the AI figures out, okay, you speak Bengali and they speak English or something, and it doesn't matter because it translates in real time between them. And so you get somebody who actually knows what they're talking about
Which is
on your help desk.
action, probably.
Exactly. And I found that really interesting to think about how that could unlock a lot of opportunity for a lot of people in a lot of places. So CAM's interesting to look at. It was one of the ones I had a really good conversation with. I also touched Telestream, which does all kinds of services to get stuff on air across many of the major studios and beyond. And basically their CEO, a guy named Dan Castles, was a co-founder nearly 30 years ago and has retired twice from the company. He just came back again at the end of last year. A bunch of the guys at the media briefing this morning and analyst briefing this morning were people that worked with him before, came back when he came back, and now they're trying to get it going and integrating all kinds of stuff. So I think Telestream is an interesting one to watch as they go from, they had something like 13 acquisitions and 38 products to get it into one sort of organized suite. So anyway, so that was a good one this morning for me. What else did you see that was cool?
Well, speaking of sports again and languages, have you heard of a company called DeltaTre? I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher it. It's French.
This is really fun. Before we got on air, I was trying to remind, like, I've had about as much high school and college French as she has, and it's been a lot longer since high school and college for me, but I can say DeltaTre.
Okay, DeltaTre. There we go. I just need to, okay. Well, if you haven't heard of them.
That's because you can't pronounce their name either.
But they're working with a ton of big leagues. They're working with the NFL, NHL. They also have niche services like BritBox as clients. They just completed their acquisition of Endeavor Streaming, which you might.
I think is a big deal. When Endeavor was taken private, they spun out some stuff. They spun out TKO, which is WWE and UFC. They did a bunch of really interesting little deals that may have been very sweet for some of the acquirers who have to be inside, like Ari Emanuel and DeltaTre, who picked up a really nice streaming partner with all their.
I think they get like 50 new clients with
them.
That's
big.
But they're doing end-to-end, and on the topic of personalization and features, because they will do things from the app to their digital store to in-stadium data where their tech is actually used for refs use it on the field to determine quickly if a goal is a goal or not.
Right.
Then it'll show on screen for viewers at home.
They call it VAR.
Yeah. So they do that, but then they also have the data loop of if I know this fan is on the website and also on their app and also in the stadium, they might serve different offers to different people based on different things. So it's bringing that personalization layer also to the sports.
We're back to personalization.
Yeah. So some people are working on it.
They're definitely working on it. I mean, it's clear that everybody thinks this is, if not the Holy Grail, a really golden cup from which they would like to sip. Holy enough for filthy lucre. So that's a really big opportunity. I sat in on a panel of the MovieLabs guys.
Oh, how was that?
Boring as hell, but it featured top executives on the technology side for Warner Bros Discovery, or whatever it's going to be called when Ellison buys it, Disney and Sony, bright guys. And then the CEO, Berger, who runs MovieLabs, which is a consortium of about 40 companies now. And every year they come to IBC and they do a little update on kind of where they are attaining their 2030 vision. Everything that's changed, he said, hasn't changed their vision because it's a broad vision about trying to get everybody working kind of on the same stuff. And there's actually something that's really smart about what they're doing, which is getting some agreement on we need these kinds of things and this kind of technology. So all the vendors out there that want to pitch know that, okay, most of the studios are on board with this. Most of the guys who work with the studios as vendors on the outside are kind of going in the same direction. So they're all kind of rowing in the same way.
They make their investments kind of in the right place.
You're more likely, okay, here's the sweet spot where most of these guys are. And I think, and they work very closely with my friends over at USC's Entertainment Technology Center, which most of these companies are also or contributing members of, to test technologies, to figure out strategies and big picture stuff. So that part's all pretty interesting. The CTO, Eddie Drake, for Disney's 4 studios and a bunch of other random stuff that they've stuck under him, was talking about, they did a kind of a fun thing where they created a zero trust, which means that you don't have to know who's downloading it to know that it's on the up and up, of all their digital assets, like sets and stuff. And if you think about the digital backlot opportunity for a big productive set of operations like all of Disney Studios, Marvel and Star Wars, and their TV operations for ABC, and on and on and on, boy, there's a lot of opportunity to be had to save money. And you can reuse that table and the digital table in lots of places, or rocks or whatever. So I found that one kind of an interesting little bit from that conversation. And what else did you see today?
Those were my main focuses today, and I still have meetings to get to. But
we still have meetings to get to. Miles to go before we sleep.
And a lot of conflicts to navigate.
Yes.
This convention.
I am finally sort of figuring this stuff out, and I'm very proud of myself for doing that. I can't tell you that it will stay much beyond my getting on a train to Paris soon. But in the meantime, it's been good talking with you again, Devin.
Maybe tomorrow I'll get it right.
I got it right today on second try, Miss DeltaTre. Talking smack to me, young lady. I missed 6 years of high school and college, and I don't know how to say a TRE. Anyway, I'm David Bloom with Next TMT. This is Bevin Fletcher, editor at Stream TV Insider, and we are happy to give you a little bit of an update on day 2 here at the gigantic RAI Amsterdam complex and IBC 2025.